Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. What?
Have you felt it?
Are you feeling this, you guys? Holy crap! Welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. I'm DLAKE for PREZ, David Lake. Apparently, I have Star Wars new trailer video playing in the background. Sorry about that.
I'm okay with it.
Stop that plug-in shock flashwave player. I'm just so excited about the new Star Wars. Everyone, please welcome to the show, Kyle Phillips. Kyle, how's it going?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for having me on, gracious host D-Lake.
Yeah, I better close that before it kicks in again. Please, everyone, welcome to the show, Sam. IB DiGangi. Sam of the time. Samuel.
Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to the Saturday edition.
Oh, yeah. Greetings, unsettled souls. Where have I heard that before? Please, everyone, welcome to the show, my good friend, Big J. Big J, how's it going?
Like,
Big J, do we have you there?
can you hear me?
There he is.
I can hear you, yes. We have audio confirmation, 10-4, good buddy on that. It looks like your video is cut off, but we'll try to get through it. Here are your opinions on the things that we are talking about starting this Saturday morning with the events that unfolded yesterday on Black Friday. Everybody's favorite, Black Friday, where people rush through the doors and people get trampled and other stuff like that. Is that right?
Today is in fact Thanksgiving Saturday for me. Here's my pumpkin. It is Thanksgiving Saturday. How many of you listening to this? And there'll be a segment of the audience. How many of you listening to this had to work Thanksgiving, and you know exactly what I'm talking about? Welcome to the show.
I had to work Thanksgiving night, and I had to go to my girlfriend's family Thanksgiving, so I slept like 2 hours and then had to work and deal with Black Friday people who started apparently like 6 p.m. now.
Well, see, I always tell people this. I work. I'm off Christmas. The other DJ worked on Thanksgiving. I don't think either one of us should be working either day. But the point is, it is what it is. I had to work. And since the club that I DJ in is located near a mall, it was very, very easy for me to shop because I wish the mall was always open at 3 in the morning. I might actually shop there. As it is, the last time I went to the mall was last Black Friday because I'm already up. So it's always interesting to see.
So you were first in line. Is that what you're trying to say?
Fucking throwing people around for TVs and.
It was in full swing at 3 a.m. when I got off work. Again, thankfully nobody here was crappy or mean. I didn't find anything all that amazing. I did find these, for anybody nerdy enough to care, these are...
Oh, Sam got a special deal for Black Friday. Well, isn't that great, Sam? I saw reports about old ladies in California camping out...
He's still not nerdy.
Camping outside the Best Buy 22 days ahead of Black Friday. Did you guys
Yes. Idiots, yes.
Doesn't even make sense. You could have did 3 days. You would have been fine. But I don't support Black Friday.
D-Lake accidentally ruined my segue here. But what I was going to say is, the reason I was showing that was how, as somebody who goes every year, again, because I'm already awake, I'm already up, I've had to work the last few of them, I can tell you that only once or twice in the 5 years that I've been going have I ever found anything that was really that great of a deal. I mean, a half a decade now. I swear to God, if you are getting up for this special thinking that you're saving money,
Sam, you're
you
trying to
are
say
wrong.
But Sam, you just said that you still went. That's what you need to do. You need to not go.
I'm already awake.
I'm already awake too. But you know where I went? You know where I went on Black Friday, Sam? I went to the Dollar Tree to make a fucking point because, I mean, what are they going to do? Everything's already $1.
Wait a second.
You have to remember,
to make a
You
point.
have to remember, I boycotted Kmart because they said they were going to fire any of their employees who did not show up. I didn't mind going to Target and Kohl's because I found out through people well, I know somebody that works at Target anyway, and they heard that Kohl's was doing it. Just to be clear, because I am on air, I don't want to overspeak. As to the best of my knowledge, you don't have to work it. It's filled by people that want the hours and seasonal help.
Sam, let me tell you something.
I don't
Somebody
have...
who's worked in retail, if you don't show up at any retail store on Black Friday, you are fired. I've worked at Best Buy. I've worked at Meijer. I've worked at Radio Shack.
Yeah,
all
Walmart's
these places.
not going to strike. Okay.
I never shop at Walmart anyway.
Guys,
but I don't have a problem with seasonal help having to work the shift because they have, by their very essence, signed up to do this, and that I don't have a problem with.
But every single employee has to work, and I know people who work at Menards, I know people who work at Walmart, Target, any of these places. Say that, request off Black Friday and see what they say, and then when they schedule you anyways, don't show up and see what they do. You get
okay.
fired.
Seasonal help, guys. Seasonal help definitely helps increase the employment numbers. Are any of those employees on Black Friday going to set the buildings on fire, like buildings that were set on fire in Ferguson? How do you guys feel about the rioting that went on in Ferguson as a result of the Darren Wilson, no indictment, no charges? Big J, what do you think?
You know, of course I can't support rioting, but I like the guy in San Diego. I
do support rioting. I thought that's
why I can't support rioting, right?
I thought that's why I had you on the show, because you support rioting.
Well, yeah, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I like the guy in San Diego, though, that got out of his car when those high school kids were blocking the freeway, and he challenged them.
I don't know if you could say high school kids, but activists.
College.
Activists closed down the freeway in San Diego to protest the Michael Brown case on a national level. Kyle, how do you feel about the Michael Brown case and the no indictment charges spawning riots like all around the country?
Well, first of all, without even saying how I feel about whether this guy deserved to be indicted or not, whether he should be in jail or not, without that, let's assume that he was exactly what the rioters and looters and protesters are saying. This guy was just some racist fuck. He was driving down the road having a bad day, and he goes, "Oh, I hate that fucking kid just because he's black, and I'm going to shoot him in cold blood dead in the street." If that was the case, is the proper response to burn down and destroy your own community?
So, I mean, you're comparing the initial just media reaction back in August when that was the initial reaction, and then there was the actual no indictment, which in a way the grand jury decided that the charges that you're talking about were not found to be indictable charges, and so now there's a second wave of rioting, buildings being burned, and burning down the community, like you were just saying, Kyle. Can you continue to speak to the damage that was done in small businesses and the Mexican restaurant, and you guys burned down the pizza? Look, if in my community you burn down the Mexican food restaurant and the pizzeria and the couple other places that I go to all the time, I'm fucking screwed. If you guys burn down the 7-Eleven in my neighborhood, I'm fucking done.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody saw the meme that I made, but it was like, I feel that there was an injustice done against the people of my community, and I'm pissed off at the police. You'll pay for this, Little Caesars. Like, really? Like, how is that a response at all?
That, and not to mention that they're hurting other black businesses, people that don't have any more than they have or have just barely more than they have by the grace of God. The analogy that comes to mind is, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but in, I want to say, 89, the Grammy Awards ceremony. The Grammys were trying to sound like they were relevant and really trying to prove that they mattered to Generation X. So what they did was create a Best Heavy Metal category because they were cool. And that year Metallica ran. The one video was groundbreaking that year. Guns N' Roses had that huge Appetite for Destruction album. And the winner Thank you. And the winner of the first ever Prove How Cool You Are, Take Me Seriously award went to Jethro Tull. And the Grammys, the people that ran the Grammys lost credibility for another half decade. It was the only joke everybody used. Everything was Jethro Tull. If there had been memes back then, that's all you would have seen for the next half. That is the analogy that I use for there being real need to reach out to, I don't mean black communities, I hate that damn term, reaching out to people who are in these lower income brackets who are angry at the way the police are treating them. But using Michael Brown, who was a thug, that actually proves in this instance that the cop was right, reminds me of the Grammy thing. The Grammys proved how out of touch they truly were at the time. And the people rioting have proven how totally you can undermine your own cause, I'm saying, in the same way.
Well, he was a gentle giant, Sam. He was a gentle giant. Didn't you see his 8th grade graduation photo?
A literal disaster, because it makes it look like the cops have been right all along. It is a disaster.
And let me say, too, that the protesters out there, the people doing the hands up in the air, holding signs and stuff, who are angry, as much as I don't agree with their reason for being angry, and I don't think they're right. I think they're wrong, and I think there's much better things for the quote-unquote black community to get riled up about than this. But let's be very careful not to lump the protesters in with the looters and rioters. Looters and rioters are not protesters. They're looters and rioters. So let's not say, I'm tired of seeing news articles and videos online on fucking The Buzz or whatever website that say, protesters destroyed local convenience store. No, protesters didn't do shit.
All right. Well, Jay, how do you feel about this? And I mean, how would you feel if you were right in the midst of this action, so to speak? I mean,
yeah, I mean, you know, the telling phrase was when his stepfather, I guess, when they announced, you know, they're not going to bring it to trial, he said, "Burn this bitch down." I mean, that's the.
Isn't that the same guy that went before the United Nations to ask for peace and calm and reparations or whatever?
Reparations. Did he? I don't know. But that's his. You know, it shows where the mentality was coming from. I think with Brown. You know. It doesn't bode well. It doesn't look good for the cause that they were trying to, you know, put out there.
Yeah. Who's putting it out there the most, though? I mean, is this? Do you feel that the racial tension is somehow being sponsored in some way, or?
Oh, there's probably,
or at least promoted. I mean, could you say that?
I mean, there was probably a few things going on. I heard the family was selling a lot of T-shirts, and that turned into you know, what we would call swag, just various items to profit from his death, and someone saw an opportunity to make money. You probably had outside agitators coming in, and then you had, you know, of course, the usual characters that Sharpton and Jesse Jackson would rile up, even though Jackson got chased out of town. Yeah, I think it was just a large, you know, just kind of
Al Sharpton was hanging in there. Al Sharpton made a second visit, didn't he? I mean, he's trying to be out there. I mean, but what does that symbolize? I mean, these guys. I mean, Sharpton, he works for MSNBC, and are these race baiters out there just trying to stir this up? And I mean, Kyle and Big J, like, I mean, who's responsible for stirring this up the most?
MSNBC. I was listening to Rachel Maddow like periodically throughout this entire thing going on, and let me tell you, MSNBC was pulling at fucking hairs trying to find any reason they could to make people angry. They were just blatantly on the side of the looters and rioters. They just were. Listen to Rachel Maddow show. Like, go back and like the day after he was found not guilty by a grand jury, and everybody started burning down their own community. Go listen to the Rachel Maddow episode the next day. Like, MSNBC, they're fucking attention whores. And I want to repeat that. Bold capital whores. They will do anything to try and get anybody to watch. It's fucking pathetic. And you can't even blame them for doing this and inciting violence in the way. And of course, they didn't blatantly say go out and burn buildings, but everything they said was to intentionally try and get these people angry because they benefit by a few extra fucking petty viewers. But if you look, I was looking up the average age of people who watch the mainstream media. The average age from the combined like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. You know what the average age of viewership is? It's like 68.8. The average viewer of MSNBC is a little bit younger, but I forget the exact number, but it was something like 62 years old. They're dying.
That's Big J. You're going to make him feel bad.
And I'm not saying anything bad about old people, but let's face it, old people, not always, but a lot of the time, are kind of stuck in their ways and used to the old way that things work. They don't have iPads. They don't have, they are used to watching the news at night, and so they flick on CNN or they flick on Fox, and it's like that's dying out. And MSNBC will do anything to get new viewers, even if that means inciting violence.
Yeah, remember when I used to throw newspapers in the morning? Hey, Big J, how do you feel about this young whippersnapper talking all this shit about your dad liking Crossfire?
Hey, you know what though? He's right. I don't even turn on the news anymore. I mean, I'm more of a Fox guy, if anything, but I don't even turn it on. I'm on the internet is usually where I get my news, and actually I enjoy reading comments on various stories, because then I feel more. If I read through those comments, I get more of a sense of where America is really coming from, as opposed to what the mainstream media networks are trying to force on me and tell me what to believe. So yeah, go ahead.
No, that's great. Because I sort of do the exact same thing. So, like, what type of comments were you seeing last week when Barack Obama came out with his new fandangle executive order actions on immigration? And apparently he consulted Homeland Secretary Jay Johnson a lot on this, the two of them both being lawyers working on this together. And how did you feel about his executive actions on that? And do you feel in any way that violated the Constitution, or is he just doing what he says other presidents have done before him, Jay?
Well, in a quick summary, I guess, the people voted, and they voted to stop him, and to me, he fired the first shot over the bow.
You're talking about the November 4th elections where Republicans took the Senate and the House in Congress.
Correct. So obviously the vote was there, and I think it was intentional that America wasn't buying into Obama's plans anymore, and they were looking to curtail his actions. And what does he do? He takes unilateral actions immediately, and before the Congress can get reestablished come in January. So, to me, he fired the first shot, and now I think you're going to see a breakdown of Congress and the president working together, and of course you're going to get the same talking points from the president saying, hey, I said I wanted to work together. Well, he's been saying a lot of things for 6 years, and most of them, just in all honesty, it hasn't been true, or it's been, it's just half-truths.
Can I come back really quickly to like the Fox News being a little bit better than the other networks? I agree.
Yeah, sure. Jay said that.
Yeah, Fox News, I agree, is more tolerable to watch than MSNBC or CNN. I'll agree with that, but, and hear me out on this, if you have a choice between you can watch two chickens have sex or two monkeys have sex, the monkeys are the better option, right? But what do you really want to see? So, like, Fox News, fuck them. I'm throwing them on the
Our Kyle Phillips, the master of analogies.
I thought the Grammy analogy was going to be much. I've been undone.
Yeah. You had it with the Grammys, I mean, But Kyle just nailed it right there. So concise. I mean, monkeys versus chickens having sex, but what do we really want to see? I mean, come on.
Fox News might be better than
D-Lake,
MSNBC, but I
D-Lake,
mean,
everyone knows we like to look up horses.
Yeah, come on. But go.
obviously.
Yeah, obviously. But going back to what we were talking about, Obama pushed fullest extent of his powers on immigration plan. Months before President Obama took executive action last week to reshape the nation's immigration system, J.C. Johnson, the Secretary of Homeland Security, quietly convened a small group of advisors to explore the legal limits of the president's powers. This article talks about how Obama and Jay Johnson were working together to figure out how he could use the fullest extent of his power, which was him going before the American people and mostly his, these Raza group detractors that say you're not doing enough to make all the illegals legal. And then in the very end, President Obama says, "Now sign them up," Miss Elias recalled the president said, because she was challenging him, and then he said, "I did this, and now it's on you." So I mean, in my opinion, the president loves to just like kick everything back. He's like, "You don't like it? Get elected. You don't like it? Write a bill. You don't like it? Suck my dick."
Well, then we go back to the animal sex again. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Which would you rather see? Jay, can you wrap up your feelings on the president's overreach of power, and could you maybe direct your comments to does the president have this authority to act with his pen and his phone in these regards in his executive order actions? Jay, what do you think?
You know, the deal is to me he knows what he's doing. He intentionally tried to sneak this in at an opportune time, and to me it just shows he's not interested in working within the system and not working with the people that were elected by the people of the United States. So, I mean, it's going to be a bumpy 2 years. I think this is just the beginning, and it's going to be probably an unproductive 2 years.
And you're aware that Obama and the Pentagon have an uneasy relationship, and on a trip to Afghanistan during President Barack Obama's first term, Defense Secretary Robert Gates was stunned to find a telephone line at the military's Special Operation Headquarters that linked directly back to a top White House national security official. Quote, "I had them tear it out while I was standing there," Gates said earlier this month as he recounted his discovery. Quote, "I told the commanders, if you get a call from the White House, you tell them to go to hell and call me." The story continues on with going from Gates and then to the president's third Pentagon chief, Chuck Hagel, who's now stepping down, retiring, and Flournoy, the female official who might do better under a Hillary Rodham Clinton administration, and now they don't know who's going to like head the Pentagon. Jay, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, I'm not familiar with that story with the line being removed. What I assume was the Secretary of Defense was probably upset that he felt he was being jumped in the chain of command. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not real familiar with that story at all.
Well, I mean, the story basically to outline, it's like the president and the White House is trying to micromanage the Pentagon and the military's operation, and Hagel's ouster has spurred a flurry of suggestions from former policy experts for how Obama can repair his relationship with the Pentagon, from ousting his West Wing aides to revamping the White House National Security Council, which has ballooned from a few dozen staffers in the 1970s to more than 400 now. But Gates, the former Pentagon chief who voiced his frustrations during a forum this month, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California, suggested the real issue rested with the president himself. When a president wants highly centralized control in the White House at the degree of micromanagement, that I'm describing, that is not bureaucratic. That's political, Gates said.
Yeah, I don't see too many relationships being repaired in the last 2 years. Like I said, you're probably just looking at a very unproductive 2 years until we have a regime change.
Hagel had warned him about so much that I had someone on my comment line say maybe the president simply didn't believe him, because I had said that it was either incompetence or he knew that Hagel was right and he's on the enemy's side. The comment was saying that it was possible that he simply didn't believe him. That would be the third option. How in the world could you not believe him?
Well, I didn't mention Leon Panetta also. There was Gates, Panetta, Hagel, and I mean, historically, how many defense secretaries or heads of the Pentagon does a president go through in his administration? I mean, doesn't this seem? And then there's a whole purging of the military and just like, yeah, you got to take down that come and take it flag. And I'm pretty sick and tired of shit like that. And like, I know Justin's a big fan of the new French Foreign Legion hats. Should we just get to the Star Wars trailer or what, guys? What do you think?
Why was I told not to watch it? Please tell me Jar Jar Binks isn't back.
Because, Sam, I'm going to go to the trailer, the new Star Wars Episode 7 trailer that Big J saw before me.
Yes, I did.
I have not seen it. I have not gotten to see it. All I've done is work and get ready for
He posted it on my page first thing Friday morning. I was like, holy shit. And then I went and posted it. I'm like, I must find a better version than the Apple version with my, because I don't have the QuickTime or something, but here it is.
Well, I'm going to mute out. I'm going to mute out for a minute.
And Sam, I'm going to just go to your screen for your reaction. Go to camera, Sam, so we can see you. So we can see you see this. Oh, wait. All right, let me set up. Let me
Way
set
to
up
ruin his first viewing, DLAKE. Jesus Christ.
Let me set up for sound, Kyle. Sam's first time viewing. We're watching him watch it. As soon as I start playing it. Here we go.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it? The dark side and the light.
Sam, you're barely reacting.
Uh-huh.
I think you're on. I think you're
Yeah.
on mute. Kyle, can you fill in what Sam's saying? Sam.
I think it's going to be a very brutal Star Wars. I didn't want to keep talking, so I didn't want to talk over saying the whole thing. But
Well, at least finish it. Let's
At
at least
least-
finish it.
Sam, I have the camera on you, so if we could see your general reaction, you're just like stone-faced. Okay.
Dark
Sam
side
gives it a thumbs up.
and the light.
Oh, there it is, Sam.
It's
Okay.
gonna It's gonna be a very adventuresome one in terms of not. I hope the storyline is good because I think there's gonna be a lot of fighting in it. When I saw The Hobbit, all they did in it was fight. It was 3 hours of fighting, so I hope they don't do that. But it looks like unless they do, it's gonna be excellent.
It's going to be very J.J. Abrams-y. You can tell that, but I'm not going to write it off
Did you already
yet.
see a lot of lens flare?
Well, I mean, yeah, the camera angles and stuff. Jay, by the way, you have to unmute yourself. I muted you because you were making pockety rustling noises.
Yeah, Big Jay was getting very excited at that trailer. It sounded like he was playing a little bit of pocket pool.
I think it's going to be really, really good. The reason I was looking so stoic was I was under the impression because of the way that you led into it that it was going to be like the Jar Jar Binks episode or something.
You thought? Oh yeah, you were a little bit afraid.
I was terrified. I'm like, oh no, they did it again. But no.
I mean, as much as I think it's going to be a good movie, like I will say that trailer tells you potentially almost nothing. Like it does not give you any information.
That is good.
Okay, teaser. Let's clarify. That was a teaser trailer, just meant to tease you. How did you guys feel about the new lightsaber that's on my screen that Lucian Farrow posted to my page?
I don't really see the point in the handle. I was thinking that. I don't see the point there. I'm sure it'll come up.
Can't swipe down and cut somebody's fingers off.
You would cut your own hand if you. I don't know. I'll have to see what it's used for. It doesn't seem to have a point right now.
It does seem to have battle implications as far as like no one can cut down the blade to cut off your hand.
Maybe, yeah, that could be. That could be. I would accept that. The judges accept the answer.
I described it as a little miniature Darth Maul toy on the edge of his lightsaber and said how cute. Jay, how do you feel about this lightsaber?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's some defensive purposes, maybe some sort of strike with the actual hilt of the lightsaber itself, but it kind of looks like a cross also, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know.
When does this one take place? Before or after the Star Wars? The we all were
after
30 years after Jedi.
Okay.
Is that right, Kyle? 20 to 30 years after
it's like
Jedi? Something like that.
The same amount of time since the movie is actually passed to make up for oldness.
So Harrison Ford is in it then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Harrison Ford. The rumor is that Harrison Ford actually negotiated in his contract that the only way he would do this movie, because he knows they're not going to make it without him, the only way that he would make this movie is if they would sign a contract to make another Indiana Jones and he gets creative input because he wasn't happy with the last one.
That's because the last one sucked ass, so way to go Harrison Ford.
And real quick, I
hated that movie. I was so let down.
I still haven't seen it because I was so afraid of it. But Shia LaBeouf was in that movie, and just today, Shia LaBeouf is actually in the news because he said that he got raped.
Interesting.
What?
Shia LaBeouf, right here, looks like he's naked and bending over. Says, "I was
rocking an Alex Jones video."
Shia LaBeouf, I was raped. He says when he was, you know how he was doing that one-man concert show thing with people standing in line to come in and see him, like, not say anything and just sit there?
Yeah.
One woman who came with her boyfriend who was outside the door when this happened whipped my legs for 10 minutes and then stripped my clothing and proceeded to rape me. There were hundreds of people in line when she walked out with disheveled hair and smudged lipstick. It was no good. Not just for me, but for her man as well. On top of that, my girl, actress Mia Goth, was in line to see me. Because it was Valentine's Day and I was living in the gallery for the duration of the event, we were separated for 5 days, no communication. So it really hurt her as well, as I guess the news of it traveled through the line. When she came in, she asked for an explanation, and I couldn't speak, so we both sat there with this unexplained trauma silently.
That's the lamest excuse I've ever heard.
I'm trying so hard to support you, Shia. Like, I want to support you, I really do, but that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You sat there and you didn't get raped. You let someone fuck you because you're stupid art.
Yeah, that's.
And how exactly did you maintain your boner, Big J? How did Shia LaBeouf maintain the boner for the raping?
How the hell am I gonna know that?
Was it the
I
leg
don't even know who
whipping?
this guy
Was it the 10 minutes of leg whipping?
All
I don't
right.
even know. Go ahead, Sam.
I wanted to say, sir, if you ever see this, what's his name? Shia, whatever.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. You have given somebody who works in a strip club, been there for 8 years. I have heard the lamest excuse for any sexual act that I have ever heard when I thought that I have heard them all. And you win the first ever Saturday edition Dumdy of the Day. Wow.
Give me some
What was that,
excuses
Jay?
that you heard, Sam.
Oh, we've had people come into our bar before, and the most common one is oh yeah, you know, my wife told me to come in here while she was shopping, but which happens all the time, except that you could tell he's watching his watch every 30 seconds. I've heard I had a dancer once tell me that she was drunk and didn't know that the guy that she was with wasn't her boyfriend, and because the lights were off. I mean, I've heard some real dumdies, but this is above and beyond anything that I've ever heard anybody try to get away with. He either wanted to cheat on her with this woman, or he wanted the attention drawn to his art that this was going to give him, so he decided to sleep with her.
His fancy artsiness thing was that he was gonna sit in this building for like a week without moving and without talking.
Yep.
And so when a woman comes in and just takes your clothes off and sits on it.
Hey, it's part of the fucking art show, and so you cannot say you were raped because it's part of the show.
Yeah, you can't say you. Yeah, exactly. That was part of the art. I mean, isn't art about self-expression and and rape and stuff?
And pornography is art, so she was just bringing another dimension to his idea.
Yeah. She just upped it.
She's the only part of the art you're hearing about, so she must have done well.
Guys,
that's true art.
I feel really bad. I feel raped right now. That I don't know how the hell I let the Star Wars reaction veer off into that. I think it was my fault, but anyways.
You know what I did get from that though, from the Star Wars?
More Star Wars, everyone. Okay, right there, Big J. I know you're anticipating a lot more aerial battle and aerial action in the new Star Wars. And how do you feel about this shot right here that I have paused?
Oh, if I could see it, I'd tell you.
Oh, you can't see it on my screen?
X-wings over the water going.
Oh, that's badass right there. Yeah.
And
that's right.
The Millennium Falcon flying in the trailer, Jay. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I think 1, 2, and 3 they really got away from the aerial battles. I think that we were used to as kids, and it looks like they're going to be coming back, and I'm kind of a little excited about that. I'll admit I'm not quite into Star Wars like I used to be because they lost me with 1, 2, and 3, but I'm willing to give them a second chance.
Come on, 3 was all right. I mean, 3 was pretty good.
All right, yeah. Kyle, from a younger generation, what were your thoughts on 1, 2, and 3, and what was the best, and what made those good, and what made them suck?
Well, I grew up like when I was a little kid. I was little when the remastered versions hit theaters. So my dad took me to see all 3 of them remastered in theaters when I was probably like, I don't know, like 7 or 8, maybe. No, I was probably like 5 or 6. And I fell in love with the movies right there. We bought the VHSs of the remastered when they came out. And I was in I believe I was in 4th grade when episode 1 came out, right? And I was their target demographic. I was the person that they were after because they were trying to get a new generation of people into the Star Wars movies, but they went about it in a really, really bad way. Star Wars Episode 1 wasn't a bad kids movie, but it wasn't a movie that catered to the same audience as the original movies. It catered to children. 2 was a little bit better, but again, their target audience was people my age. When 2 came out, I was probably in, like, I don't know, 7th grade, and that's who they were going after. 3 was, I think they did a great job on 3, and I don't think 1 and 2 were necessarily horrible. They just didn't, they were kids' movies. 3, though, I thought was really, really good. I wouldn't say that it's as good as the original trilogy, but it was the closest they've gotten to getting back to it, and I'm hoping that this next one is better than 3. Nothing's going to be as good as the originals. That's impossible. We all know that. You can't outdo the original, especially when you come back fucking 30 years later or whatever. But
well, Kyle, let me ask you this. In 1, 2, and 3, and you watched them in the prime of your, like, I mean, those are your Star Wars years, because, I mean, that's what Star Wars was for me. And, like, and Big J is talking about all this new aerial dogfighting and, like, the shit that we really want to see. What was the best aerial battle in 1, 2, and 3? You can't even mention one.
No, there's a few. There's one right at the beginning of 2. Right when the movie starts out, there's an aerial battle. In 1, there's the one where Anakin Skywalker fucking accidentally gets into a spaceship and goes and blows up some Empire shit. There's that one. There's the scene with the cars in episode 2 where he ends up having to jump out after his lightsaber.
Yeah, chases.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a chase, but there were a few battles, not a
Two battles.
They could have did more, I admit, because with the technology, their ability to do it is so much better, and J.J. Abrams, talk shit about him as much as you will, is kind of the master of that. But even the old movies, like, as much as their aerial battles were really, really cool, like, it was a lot more cockpit-based. Like, you saw a hell of a lot more of Luke Skywalker's face in his cockpit than you did shit flying around, because they literally had to build models in front of green screens with fireworks built into them, you know? Like,
So
it was
Kyle,
a lot harder to do then.
So, Kyle, when you see my screen right here, do you get a big fucking Star Wars boner?
Yeah,
Yeah!
absolutely.
Millennium Falcon!
And, like,
What? TIE Fighters! What?
it makes me excited because, let's be honest, nothing in any of the original movies was cinematically to that level, even that short little clip. Like, we have the technology now to where the cinematography is going to be on a fucking unheard of level compared to the original movies. So if that's what you're going for, this movie might be better than the originals, because, like, it's so much easier to do now.
All that
You know what I mean?
With, all that miniature with CGI. And you know what's crazy? This morning, like, another friend of mine on Facebook's like, this is the trailer that was shown in theaters, not the one that came out on the internet. And I was like, what? And I clicked into it, and I was watching it, and I'm like, oh, wait, what? And then, like, I looked at the...
They just took a ton of clips from, like, Ender's Game. Like,
yeah. Oh, let's talk about that. Because I was like, oh, wait, what? This is the version I didn't see? Then I looked at the like versus dislike. And look, Sam, I don't know if you know this because you're a little bit behind in the times, but if a video has 8,000 dislikes and 1,000 likes, it's because it's fake.
Yeah.
General rule.
Why would I not know that?
Like, fake. But Justin, he doesn't read the comments on the YouTubes. He just falls for it, posts it.
Gotta read the comments. It's the same as anything else. If you're gonna buy something on Amazon, look at the stars, man.
He was like, "Oh, I saw this preview last week." It's like, shut the fuck up! You didn't see it, and he's like, "Oh."
I run into that a lot because I'm always looking up roller coasters, and what people will do just to get traffic is post these coasters that they've made on their computer using whatever, and say that it's the new ride at whatever park it is that you're looking at, and then you click on it, and it's got like 4 likes and 10,000 dislikes.
Oh, wait,
That's a quick way.
I want to come back to roller coasters with you, Sam, but Jay, I think, has something to say.
No, I was just gonna say it was funny because when you made that post, Dave, this another guy right before you, like minutes before, made the post like this is the trailer. So I'm like, okay, well this is probably it, whatever. And I'm like, dude, I just watched it, and yeah, it wasn't it. Yeah, you guys fucking got me on that. But guess what? I still saw the teaser trailer before both of you, and you guys are way more Star Wars, nerds than me.
Yeah, he did. I woke up.
Wait, were you the one who said that?
On Friday morning, I woke up and he had already posted on my page, tweeted me, texted me, fucking sent me a message and an email saying, aha, I just saw the real thing. Here it is. And I was like, fuck!
Well, see, I've got a different take on it. When I saw it, the first thing I did not want to do was click on it. I was delighted to see it, but they didn't do it this time. But I've found that trailers have ruined movies. I don't ever watch them. If I'm in the movie theater, everyone's excited about the trailers. I don't like what they've done with trailers for the last 20 years. I won't. And when the whole trailer comes out, I'll try to avoid it.
Yeah, a teaser trailer a year in advance, Sam. I think that's okay.
Yeah, but I want to come back to Sam with roller coasters really quick because Sam, there's a video that's been going around which is like a CG animation. It's not a real roller coaster, but it's like a concept that might actually be built. Have you seen this? Where it's like a roller coaster that goes like inside and outside, like all around a fucking skyscraper, and it's supposed to be.
I thought it was built, or is being built. The 500-foot one.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be built, but it's not like you can't go ride it yet. It's like in the process, and that's the CG of like what it will be like. That looks pretty dope, right?
I would ride it in a New York second. Yeah, I'm very excited about the new generation of coasters coming out.
I'm excited about people building roller coasters in their backyard. That's something that I am a YouTube
me too.
Backyard roller coaster.
Nothing beats the blue one. The guy with the loop. Nothing beats
the guy with the loop. Yeah, that thing's crazy. Where it like goes over his shed.
He wins. Yeah, he wins. I haven't seen one that even touches it.
No, nobody comes anywhere near that dude. But it's still cool that other people are just like, I'm gonna build a roller coaster that takes up my entire yard. And some of them, you look at them, like one of them's built with like the rails are PVC. It's like, oh,
yeah,
I want to ride that shit. Like, no way. PVC pipe roller coaster. No, thank you.
It'd be a smooth ride.
Till it falls into a million pieces. Fuck that. Think DLAKE ran away. He had to go splash some water on his face. Yes, DLAKE.
He's watching a Star Wars porn.
I'm back. Hey, did we have some science news today, Sam? Did you have some science?
Yes, I
Kyle,
need.
Do you have a theme song?
It's time to learn some science. So hit us out with the science front.
Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to news from the science front. We've got from the independent.co.uk. As I mentioned earlier in today's show, today is Thanksgiving for me. Life after death, largest ever study, provides evidence of out-of-body and near-death experiences. I picked it because everyone's always saying of the things that they are thankful for in their life or whatever. Well, this was, I found this to be interesting. There is scientific evidence to suggest that life can continue after death, according to the largest ever medical study carried out on the subject. The team, it says based in the UK, has spent the last 4 years seeking out cardiac arrest patients to analyze their experiences. And they found that almost 40% of the survivors described having some form of awareness at a time when they were declared clinically dead. Experts currently believe that the brain shuts down within 20 to 30 seconds after the heart stops beating, and that it is not possible to be aware of anything once that has happened. So it looks like this idea that your brain keeps going on after you died is not proving to be true. So what these people are seeing looks like it's real. It says scientists in the new study said they heard compelling evidence that patients experienced real events for up to 3 minutes after all of this happened, and could recall accurately once they had been resuscitated. Dr. Sam Parnia an assistant professor at the State University of New York and former research fellow at the University of Southampton who led the research, said that he previously he saw patients, who described near-death experiences were only relating hallucinatory events. Now, a lot of us have known for a long time that these match up too well in different cultures throughout different societies and in drastically different periods. They all point to the same thing, and now it looks like it's being scientifically proven. It said one man gave a very credible account of what was going on while doctors and nurses tried to bring him back to life. And he says that he felt he was observing his resuscitation from the corner of the room. Speaking to the Telegraph about the evidence provided by the 57-year-old social worker from Southampton, Dr. Parnia said, "We know that the brain cannot function when the heart has stopped beating. But in this case, conscious awareness appears to have continued for up to 3 minutes. He described everything that happened in the room, but importantly, he heard 2 bleeps from a machine that makes a noise at 3-minute intervals. So we could time how long the experience lasted for. That is very interesting. It says he seemed to be credible, and everything that he said had happened to him exactly as it happened. Dr. Parnia's study involved 2,060 patients from 15 hospitals in the UK, US, and Austria, and it's been published in the journal Resuscitation."
So crazy, man.
And again, 2,060 of them. It says the findings of the study suggested that the recalled experience surrounding death now merits further genuine investigation without prejudice. It said of the 46% experienced a broad range of mental recollections. 9% had experience compatible with traditional definitions of near-death experience, and 2% exhibited full awareness without explicit recall. With explicit recall, seeing and hearing events out of body, and they were all correct. That is today's news from the science front. What do you guys think?
I think all those people are liars, personally.
No, I think that there's life after death to some degree, even if it's only seconds. That you see that bright light. It's been talked about so many times. What I'm trying to recollect and recall, Sam, is what was the name of this movie with Kevin Bacon and Keith Sutherland? Where
Oh, I love that movie, Flatliners.
Flatliners.
Yeah, Flatliners. That's what it was. Yeah, there it is. And what was the basic premise of that movie, Sam? They were trying to find life after death or something like that?
Just spilled coffee all over myself. It's...
Okay.
I hit my table.
Kiefer Sutherland makes you cold, and then you go to heaven for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's awful. They are flat.
Oh, yeah, they were trying to do a yeah.
In the movie, when they flatline you, I don't want to give. I hate when people give spoilers away. But when they
the movie is from the '80s. It's okay.
No, I hate that. I hate that. People have done that to me with like Twilight Zone episodes because I love Twilight Zone, and they'll find one that I don't remember. No, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. Hush, no, listen, you're missing the whole damn point. It's like if you had told me the end of Metropolis from the 20s, then I might not have watched the damn thing. The reason I watched I don't care when the movie was made, if someone gives you the end of the movie away, it's like you could be telling a story that happened 500 years ago. If someone already knows the end of the story before the person telling you the story starts it, then you're not even going to listen to the guy speak.
Sam,
I hate when people do that.
Sam, Rosebud was his sled from childhood.
But it's funny because when people do that, it makes it so that you don't want to watch the movie. It's irrelevant when it was made.
Yeah.
If someone, for instance, if let's say you get somebody over from another country and they're watching Friday the 13th, if you tell them immediately who the killer is, you have just ruined the entire point. Now it's just a hack film. There's no point in watching the damn thing once that happens.
I think there's a 50-year I think there's a
Like,
5-year window. You're allowed to spoil the
No,
movie after
think
5
about
years.
think about how much you could mess up the original Star Wars for somebody if you would you have somebody come and they're like they're from Asia or so, like North Korea where the movie's banned, and you go yammering off about who Darth Vader is. Now you've ruined the whole.
If I'm
damn
talking to
story.
somebody who's fresh off the boat from North Korea, the least of my concern is spoiling Star Wars. But I mean, even you show them the
Sam,
trailer,
you're
guess
like
what?
a
They're gonna blow that
Simpsons
thing up.
episode.
No, I don't know. I hate when people do that. But anyway, flatliners. Every time you flatline, you end. I like that. What ends up happening isn't something that you would see coming. It's more than like a death movie. There's stuff that goes on that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they flatlined. And it was like a commentary about the way people treat other people as well is a good way to put it. And I like that movie.
Yeah, so Sam doesn't want to spoil Flatliners, but Kyle, can you tell everyone what it's really all about?
Kiefer Sutherland and a gang of his friends in medical school decide to start experimenting with bringing you back to life by essentially freezing you and injecting you with shit until you die, and keeping you with your heart not beating for the maximum amount of time until they resuscitate you so that you can go to the afterlife, which in the movie is flying over a large field. And they do all this in a chapel.
That's where you just crossed the line. You just spoiled it.
I did. I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry, everybody who didn't see the
Fuck you, Kyle. We love Sam.
1985.
Who wouldn't say that much, and we hate you for saying that
theory
much.
doesn't make any sense though, because if that was the case, nobody would ever watch the original Psycho. The entire movie would die because no new generations would ever watch it because everybody tells you how the movie ends.
I don't think that's true. How many times?
It is true.
How many times have you watched a remake of a movie and it's really good, so you decide to go back and watch the original? I do that all the time.
My favorite was Night of the Living Dead because the remake of the Night of the Living Dead ended differently than the first one.
How many people saw the new Planet of the Apes movies and were like, I'm going to go watch the original with Charlton Heston? It's like, you know that it's Earth. Spoilers, anyone who hasn't seen Planet of the Apes.
But the point is, especially if the movie hasn't been remade, it's a really bad idea to do that because now you've made it so that nobody even wants to see the film.
Hey, Sam, did you know that Soylent Green is people and Bruce Willis was dead the whole time?
But I'm serious. There's going to be more people on this comment line that agree with me than agree with you. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if it's a book. If someone tells you the way it ends and it's not a history book, then they've utterly ruined it for you.
Okay. Well, to bring us back full circle, guys, real quick, in one sentence, do you think that the new Star Wars teaser trailer spoiled the movie that's coming out a year later in any way?
No.
Okay.
Movies are surprisingly getting better about that because that's like the biggest thing people complain about is like you see the trailer and you've seen the entire movie. So like even like what was Interstellar didn't do that either. Like a lot of movies are avoiding giving away the entire plot.
They're taking the word teaser seriously. But I asked Lucian Farrow of Indigo Children for a quote, or a statement quote that I could quote him about the new trailer, and Lucian Farrow of Indigo Children says, "Lucas was selling out in the end anyway, so I'm going to give Disney a shot for 7 as an episode 7."
That's
from the
fair.
unrevealing looks of the teaser, which is what we were just saying, it doesn't look like they went Pirates of the Caribbean on us. I think that's probably a good thing. I anticipate Disney is buying the rights to make hour-and-a-half-long, somewhat palatable commercials for new toys and various merchandise. We just have to wait and see. The movie will flop if they try to hype this for a year straight, even if the film turns out to be the greatest of all time. But just to go back to the toys and merchandise, Big J, how do you feel about the new Star Wars possibly being just like an overwhelming, obnoxious cash grab for new toys and merchandise?
Well, of course, the bottom line is always going to be a factor, but I didn't think about that. But you brought up a good point that, a year out, maybe if they keep hyping this for a whole year, maybe it doesn't live up to the hype, and maybe that was part of the problem with 1, 2, and 3. I think there was a lot of factors that were the downfall of 1, 2, and 3, but you know, that could have been part of the hype too. We waited so long and expected so much, and now are we going to wait a whole nother year and expect so much? You know, is it going to be there? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't want to ruin any plots, but in Predator, Arnold does make it to the chopper. He gets to the chopper.
He gets to the chopper.
Yes.
Well, and let's not forget
now I can't watch Predator. I tried for a year to get Kyle to watch it. He finally watched it, and like I'm glad I didn't reveal that to him.
My point is, you're still going to have more people that agree with me on the comment line on this. That's a terrible, terrible idea. It's the best way to lose viewers is to do that. I don't care what it is. I immediately click off when places to do that. I hate that.
Dude, I was seeing yesterday in the comment line of the new Star Wars trailer that just came out, there was all this talk that the full entire movie was released was hacked and released in like Serbia, and I'm like, okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is not click on any fucking link that's like, go watch the full Star Wars movie in Serbia. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna click on that, guys. Would you
Episode
click on that?
3. Do you remember Episode 3 got released like a day before it hit theaters in DVD quality?
A day before. I'm talking about shit I just read yesterday, a year before. So I don't really think that's.
I honestly, I bet that's bullshit because I doubt the movie's even done.
Yeah, it's bullshit, and it's in Serbia, so that's a double no-click, don't you think?
So all their voices are ununderstandable and angry sounding. But I do want to remind people, like, because a lot of people say, oh, George Lucas lost his way and fucked everything up by doing the prequels, but DLAKE, we were talking about this the other day, not for this reason, but don't forget that before he even finished the original trilogy, he released the fucking holiday special. So, like, George Lucas has been doing this since the beginning.
Yeah. And
I didn't mind, like Kyle said, I liked 3. I liked the double-sided lightsaber. I didn't even hate 1 except for Jar Jar Binks constantly ruining the movie every time he showed up, but I didn't really like it.
But Jar Jar Binks served a purpose.
He's awful. But
Jar Jar Binks' character represented that even the most innocent can be corrupted, because at the end, he's the one who gets the Senate to vote in favor of the creation of the Empire, right?
Yeah, but he was an annoying, useful. Yeah, he was just too. It was too much. I wish they hadn't had him. He was a detriment. I was very happy when 2 came out that he was like in it barely at all. I was like, a good idea, good move.
Hey, let me bring up some of my old school movie knowledge history right
there
here.
It is.
Yeah, Howard the Duck, directed by George Lucas in 1986.
There's a movie right there that the first half is this funny comedy, and the second half falls apart so bad that it becomes the stupidest movie of all time.
But what I wanted to point out is this: Howard the Duck was a Marvel comic books character. So this is George Lucas directing a Marvel comic books movie back in 1986. Now, I just wanted to point out, on top of all that, Marvel Comics, Star Wars, Lucasfilms, whatever, Disney owns it all.
And that's something I have a problem with. As much as, like, I will acknowledge that Disney does good work, they own way fucking too much.
Yeah, and they destroy a lot of what they do. They bought Cedar Point, and I've talked about it in earlier episodes. It hasn't, I mean, the whole look might be nicer in some ways.
That's gonna be
but what they've actually done has not been all that impressive. Like, I actually like the last owners better. They tend to
go back and watch any comic book movie made before the first Spider-Man. Watch anything made before that.
Yeah.
I like Superman with Christopher Reeves. All right.
That's the one exception, which even that is not great. It's okay. It's good.
He was a
Watch
good
the original
Superman.
Captain America. He was, but
Jay, if I could get your thoughts on Disney basically owning everything, Jay.
What do you want me to? No.
He loves Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck.
What were you guys saying about superhero movies previous Spider-Man? What was the point you were making, Kyle?
Pre-Spider-Man comic book movies, 90% of them sucked balls. And since Disney's gotten involved and own the world, which again I said I don't like that they own so much. They own way too fucking much, but I do think they do an amazing job. 99% of the time, they do justice to everything. Like since
it was the Sony Blade movies though that got the first Spider-Man made. The success of the Blade movies.
The Blade movies were good, but I mean,
if they hadn't used those stupid.
That was the initial comeback though.
The movie was great. The effects were stupid. It looked like a video game. I love the movie, but I can't watch them because of the way the vampires die. It's just I'm sorry.
But it was CG just wasn't there yet, and that's the thing. Like you even watch the remastered Star Wars movies, like the guy Unite, no, Unite, and they do like the Star Wars. You know what I'm talking about in Jabba's palace. They look horrible. The CG just wasn't fucking there yet. It's not quite there now. But it's there enough that you can believe it. You can believe it to where you used to not be able to believe it. Like the original Jurassic Park, you're like, oh my god, look, a CG fucking dinosaur. It looked like shit. Go back and watch it. It looked horrible.
Wait,
but
Kyle,
we're getting there.
Jay, have you seen the Jurassic World trailer, Kyle?
Yeah, it looks dumb.
What's that?
You think? Jay, did you watch the Jurassic World trailer yet?
No. I'm not a big movie guy like you guys, but I do agree with Kyle that the earlier, movies had more of a kid's comic book feel to it. And to Dave's credit, years ago when we went and saw the Batman movie, the one with Jim Carrey and Arnold Schwarzenegger in it and all that other stuff.
Oh man, we saw the advanced trailer. We saw the advanced preview.
That movie was cool.
Yeah, you know what? I thought it was okay, and I left them like, yeah, it was pretty solid. It was okay. But Dave was like, no, I need the dark and this and that, and he's much deeper into comic books.
Yeah, that one, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger was too chill.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
Cool off.
Lost some steam. Chill out.
I didn't really understand what Dave was talking about until the new Batmans came out, and then I'm like, oh, this is what Dave meant 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I've said before to everybody, recognize that the Dark Knight and Batman are two different characters. Like, if you can recognize that, you can enjoy them both. You might like one more than the other, but everybody's going to be comparing the Ben Affleck.
Wow, that's a really great way to play. That's a really great way to say it and play it, that the Dark Knight and Batman are two different characters. But what I think that I posted on Thanksgiving, everyone go watch Gotham. I mean, it's only because the latest episode that I watched, and I've been watching it all along, there's highlights and there's points where you're like, but like the last episode was so good because it focused on Bruce Wayne, his relationship with Selina Kyle, Catwoman, and just like, man, it was really good. And like, I just hope the new Ben Affleck Batman Superman just lives up to the tradition of Batman.
Yeah, but that's why I've been pointing that out to everybody who will listen, is like, don't expect fucking Christian Bale Dark Knight out of Ben Affleck. That's not what you're gonna get. You're gonna get fucking.
What do you think what do you think we're gonna get out of a Ben Affleck Batman? Kyle and Jay, what do you think?
I think we're gonna get more of a George Clooney Batman. That's as simple.
Oh, God, I hope not.
It's a different character though. It's not the Dark Knight. If you take the Dark Knight out of it, the George Clooney Batman
was an
wasn't
older,
bad.
grittier Batman, though. I mean, don't you think Ben Affleck can do that? I mean,
I don't think that's what the character is.
No, I don't see Clooney. Clooney was the worst ever. I'm hoping for more of a Keaton Batman. That's what I'm seeing.
All right, Michael Keaton, same thing. But that era.
Keaton was a great Batman. Clooney was the worst Batman ever.
But same, they're the same
if he
era
has a Batman
Batman.
credit card, I'm out this bitch.
But you know what I mean, like the Michael Keaton. To me, they're interchangeable because it's '90s Batman. Where before Batman was made into this deep, dark character on the big screen, that's the Batman to expect. Because the Dark Knight has no fucking place in a Superman movie. Like, the Dark Knight and Superman would not work together. That's like I don't know, like a super. It's
Yeah,
they
they
just
wouldn't
don't
work
mix.
together. That's why they're going to be against each other and opposed to each other and fighting each other, dude. You got to go back and read Frank Miller's fucking Dark Knight Returns, man. You don't know what you're talking about.
We'll see, but don't expect a fucking Christian Bale Batman out of Ben Affleck. It's not going to happen.
I don't expect that. I expect a fucking super awesome Ben Affleck Batman, and he better
I do
fucking
too.
be, or I'm going to be pissed.
And I love Ben Affleck. I'm not a huge Batman fan. I like the movies. I thought that the first one, Batman Begins, kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie, that movie wasn't that good.
I'm just going to say that you probably want to cuddle with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I'd cuddle with Ben Affleck.
Good job. I'm
Cuddle with
giving.
It's a little
think
bit
he's gonna do
chilly.
well.
Fucking, we're watching, Argo or Jersey
if you had
Girl,
a-
and he's like, it's a little bit cold, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, I turned the heat up, but he's like, well, yeah, get under here. Get under here,
Well, let me
bud.
ask Sam. Sam, if you had to choose to cuddle with Ben Affleck or Matt Damon, who would you choose?
Oh, that's awful.
He would choose Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman.
Ben Affleck, because I need him to be a good Batman, and after snuggling with me, it would be inspiration.
Get under here. It's
Oh,
cold.
yeah.
Let's just get
What a terrible list.
I could see how somehow I could see how sleeping with Sam would make me a better Batman.
As we've wandered into entertainment here, I was going to cover this last week. If you guys, I don't know if you've seen
Wait,
it.
I'm not letting you get off the hook. How does cuddling with Sam make you a better Batman?
Well, no, cuddling with Sam makes you a better anything because it's Sam.
You know exactly how, Kyle. Okay, don't get jealous. Sam, go ahead with your entertainment news.
Before I say the name of the celebrity, in my opinion, he does everything well, but he does a lot of styles of music that just don't turn me on. Even though he does them well, I'm like, ugh. But this is the coolest thing I've read in a long time anyway.
If it has anything to do with that 9-inch nails fucker, I'm going to be mad, Sam. I'm walking away.
Is it Shia LaBeouf getting raped, Sam?
If I said like Trent Reznor's like one of my favorite artists ever. How in the world could that have been the segue for that? No. Kid Rock went to a mentally retarded guy's 30-year birthday party.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Because the guy posted a video, he looked MRDD to the hilt. MRDD guy did this video asking Kid Rock. You can find it at WILX.com. He went to his camera and made a video inviting Kid Rock to come to his birthday party. And Kid Rock actually showed up with members of his band to celebrate this guy's birthday with him. And again, I mean, I'm not a real big Southern rock fan, even though Kid Rock does it well. But that was the coolest thing that I had seen a celebrity do in a long time. And since this is Sam's Thanksgiving, based on, as I said earlier, that had to be mentioned. If you watch the video, it's like, you know what, kid? Nice work.
You know why he loves Kid Rock so much? It's because Ball with the Ball were the only lyrics that he could sing.
Yeah.
Hey, on my screen, here we go, guys. Dan's 30th birthday. Kid Rock shows up for his birthday.
Wait, there's an...
Okay? I'm going to skip forward and we're going to comment so we don't get banned or blocked for this, but...
There's something I do want to say about this, though.
Oh, what'd you want to say, Kyle?
There's a part when Kid Rock walks up, look closely, and there's a part which, like, not making fun at all, but it's just something I noticed, like, you know, like, autistic people sometimes have issues with, like, being touched and touching?
Yeah, touching is weird for them.
Like, look, there's a part where Kid Rock puts his arm around him and he almost fucking freaks out, even though it's Kid Rock.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah, I love Kid Rock. I love him so much. I'm wearing his shirt. I love him. I'm at the bar. It's my birthday.
I'm not singing. 30 years old?
But I still just don't like being touched too much.
Little does he know that I'm actually an opera singer.
That's
So,
not Kid Rock.
a world renowned is going to sing happy birthday.
It's after this.
Okay, whatever that was.
That sounded insulting.
Oh, okay, here we go. Whoa, it's him! Oh, don't touch me! Oh yeah, seriously. No, he loves it,
I
man.
think
He
he looks
loves
like
it.
I don't know. Either way, I think it's
right there.
That's his idol. The American Badass is here. All right, I like that. That was good.
Yeah, I know that. I remember telling Christelle that was extremely. I mean, that's like mind-blowingly witty for MRDD. That's a very good side.
And whenever Big J shows up at somebody's birthday and starts like doing like songs and stuff, everyone loves that.
D-Lake, what if Kid Rock showed up at your birthday and brought out the cake and sang you happy birthday?
I'll be like, "Where's Big J?"
Well, you want to just accept it and be like, all right, I'll take any celebrity be it at my birthday randomly.
I'll be like, "Free cake."
I'd be like, Kid Rock, what'd you get me?
Yeah, I'll be like, "Hey, Kid Rock."
Oh no, he does. No, he gives him he gets him a guitar.
That's rude.
I'll be like, "Where's Pamela?"
But yeah, that was my entertainment news. I thought that was the coolest story I'd come across.
That was pretty good.
If Kid Rock was to cuddle with you, would he become a better musician?
Well, I mean, people are going to question Eminem because I don't know. No one knows if he's charitable or not. But it's odd when he. But my guess is he probably is, and the reason I say that is the Detroit people that have made it have always been extremely popular for their charity. I guess Rock is, ICP is, Twisted is. It tends to come up a lot. The people that made it from Detroit tend to never forget where they came from when it comes to charity.
Whoa. Slow it down. I thought ICP were labeled terrorists, Sam. We don't want to be associated with terrorists.
Yes, terrorists. But they tend to be very charitable. They remember where they come from when they come from Detroit. And I bet you M's the same way. No matter how hard he wants to act, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if M was giving a fortune to a Detroit hospital or something. I'm telling you, they've noticed that from the people that hit from there.
Good point, Sam. What about the people that hit from Compton, like Ice Cube or?
If anything,
Justin, did you have anything new and exciting in entertainment that you've seen recently?
Me? No.
Star Wars trailer, we already covered that.
Yeah. I saw Dumb and Dumber.
Heard it sucked.
Was it funny?
You know, it started out slow, and it seemed like they were trying too hard for the first 25 minutes. But then it actually kind of picked up, and I thought it was okay.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. All the movie reviews I've seen on it have said it's horrible, and then everybody I talked to who's actually seen it is like it was okay. So I don't know. I'd Redbox it, but I'm not gonna. I got to see the new Hunger Games. I read the books, or the last book. I want to see that, but I still haven't gotten a chance to get out to the theater yet. Problem is, I love movies and I love going to the theater. I just don't like sitting next to people. So when a movie comes out, I can't see it the first week. I gotta wait a little bit because I don't want you go to see a movie the first night it comes out and it's like my luck, I'm gonna end up next to this big fucking sweaty guy who breathes really loudly through his mouth and keeps pointing out obvious shit to his fucking fat wife, and they keep having to get up to get more popcorn because they're just stuffing their faces and crumbs are flying over onto my seat, and fucking loud kids playing with their iPhones in front of me. No. I'll wait until it's been out a little while.
Well, see, I would hats off to Jay, who didn't come on and immediately give you every gag that was in the Dumber Dumber movie. That way you want to see it, D-Lake. See how that
but
works.
That's still in theaters. If I was to tell you, hey, in Dumb and Dumber, they find a briefcase full of money, and at the end they end up right back where they were,
Yeah. Sam, we can spoil the first Dumb and Dumber that's been out for 20+ years, but the newest one...
that doesn't make any sense because not everybody listening to this is going to be someone that saw it. I don't understand why the age of the picture.
Yeah, well, I didn't ask for spoilers. I asked for his commentary.
But yeah, thankfully he didn't give us any spoilers. He did it well. Right.
Jay, would you recommend the movie?
Well, first of all, to Sam's point, I think you got like a statute of limitations. Like if you've had the opportunity to see it for 10 years, yeah. If you had like 10 years to see the movie and you didn't see it, well, then guess what? Then you're open to being spoiled upon, I guess. But
Sam, at the end of Waterworld, they found dry land.
Nobody ever watched Waterworld except you. That's different.
I like Waterworld. It's a good movie.
I like Waterworld.
I saw it once and didn't mind it. I also, I was going to say, felt the same way about The Postman. They were viewed as terrible. I didn't think they were that bad. I mean, I don't. Now, Kyle's love of it is something I've never dreamed of before, but I liked it okay.
No, I think Kyle and Jay could probably talk about Waterworld for the next half hour or so. Like,
Waterworld's good.
Jay, just so the other guys know who we're dealing with here, you are a Kevin Costner fan. I mean, I wouldn't have you on the show if you weren't a fan of Kevin Costner. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I haven't seen all those movies, but the ones I've seen I liked.
Kevin Costner generally, I don't think I've seen anything bad. I've seen things that he's made that were so-so, but everything he makes generally is really good. His band, I've heard his band a few times. He's got like a blues band, and they're pretty decent too. So
yeah, him and Lou Diamond Phillips both have really good blues rock bands.
Hey, what about Keanu Reeves' band? Dogstar. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't know about Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves makes okay movies, but
he's John Wick now. Okay, you better get that right. He's not Neo anymore. He's John Wick.
Yes, I haven't seen that. I don't know. I don't even know what it's about.
I haven't seen it either, but the trailer looks pretty good.
I haven't seen it. Does he say "whoa" at all?
What?
Whoa.
Yeah, he says "whoa" like every 10 minutes. They're like that. That's what makes it so great. That's what makes his comeback so great. He's like doing all those "whoa" lines.
I'm excited for the new Bill and Ted that's been supposed to come out for the past like 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
What else have I seen entertaining recently? I don't know. I like that super power battles between Darth Vader and Batman.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Back in like the early 2000s, people used to make like cartoons. That one was live action, which made it really cool. But people always used to do like the cartoons where it would be, like Sonic versus fucking Mario, or like Iron Man versus Dragon Ball Z motherfuckers and stuff. And I always enjoyed those.
Marvel Comics had What If.
Yes, I love those.
Yeah.
The best ones though is like there was one that like I used to watch these like pre-YouTube when you had to like go find them and download them and stuff. And every once in a while you would find one. Like there was one. It was like Sonic versus Knuckles, I think, right? And like they're fighting, going back and forth, and throwing shit and getting shields and coins and stuff, and it's really really cool. But then at the end, like Knuckles just ends up fucking Sonic in the ass. It's like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Whoa. I have, maybe they've made them, as far as I know, they've never made a cartoon of it. I wish they would. I have a comic in the other room that, it's not a What If, but it was made a little later than that, but it would have been called a What If comic. It's Alien versus Batman, and it's surprisingly good. The way they did it...
That'd be interesting.
The way they did it is the alien got into an alligator. And, I mean, that's not a spoiler. It happens at the beginning. But it's gets inside of an alligator. And it's wicked. It's wicked, wicked, wicked good. And I was hoping, for those of you that don't know, the What Ifs are comics that you can write that would be stupid if they were a part of the series, but they're their own little universe, their own little What If series. So
yeah, they made some of them into cartoons, like they did on Netflix. You can get like Hulk versus Iron Man, and like
yeah,
they have a ton of them, which they're all right. I watched like what was it?
The Batman Alien is an excellent comic for anyone that likes comics.
And so is the Batman vs. Predator, and I have all of them, Sam, so don't worry about it.
I've got Alien Predator.
This guy's a collector.
All right, I think
it's been a great show, everybody. How do you feel about it? We talked about Ferguson. We talked about freedom. We talked about the Star Wars trailer. We gave our reaction. I'm pretty
We
sure
missed our
that'll
free speech.
I'm pretty sure that'll have us a million hits.
Better.
Sam, if you could be like really lightning fast about it, did you want to get into that real quick as a way to end the show?
Yeah, I don't mind. Let me call it back up again because I just closed it. It was about.
Yeah. I want to get Jay and Kyle's final thoughts on freedom. I'll give mine. Sam, kick us off. Final thoughts on freedom.
I thought this was interesting because there is a fine line between free speech and inciting a riot, as we mentioned earlier with the burn this bitch down comment. This is more frightening than both of those scenarios. This is from the spectator.co.uk. Free speech is so last century. Today's students want the right to be comfortable. And I'm not going to read it like I did the science front. I'll paraphrase it and let you guys go because it has been a long show. And I don't want people to zone out. But the nuts and bolts of this is the new generation would find it more important, or at least they're calling them Stepford students. It would be more important to not talk about abortion with someone that has differing views than it would be to have the debate and the discussion openly. The new students going into colleges are more interested in not offending anybody than they are about speaking and talking about important issues. And in that regard, they're more conservative than my great-grandparents were. And it's the part of conservatism that I don't think anybody on this show right now likes. It's the kind of conservatism that gives conservatives a bad name. Well, it's the only part of conservatism that a lot of these students are espousing. It's this safety tree sort of don't offend anybody thing, don't make anybody uncomfortable, and that they're looking at it as a right. And I thought
We'll be happy to confine ourselves to this little pig pen called the free speech zone, right? Like we won't infringe, we won't try to exceed our boundaries set by the federal government. But what happens, Big J, when these protesters, activists decide to line the entire freeway and stop these other people from going to work? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I've been all around this world. I've been in probably 15 countries, 4 or 5 continents. I don't know. You know, we're truly blessed here, and really what we're discussing is more first world problems as opposed to like third world problems or developing nation problems. But you know what? It's Thanksgiving, but you need to be thankful you live in the United States. I mean, we got this show where random people are sitting here conversing and sharing our ideas, you know, respectfully, of course. And I think we're truly blessed.
Calling me random, that ain't respectful.
I think we're truly blessed to be in the United States and have all these opportunities. And really, you know, there's a lot of issues and problems and strife in the world. But, hey, overall, I got nothing to complain about.
It sounds like Kyle wanted to complain. You called him random. You called us just random people.
Call me random? What the fuck is that?
Well, what I mean random is I've never met you in person, Kyle. I've never met Sam in person, you know? So to me, you're kind of a random person.
Yeah, you're like, who is this guy, Big J, with all his fancy thoughts and ideas? But Jay, if you could summarize even what you just said, which was a summary, just to give us your final thoughts on how thankful should we be that we're in America? I'm fucking pretty goddamn thankful, but how do you feel?
Man, I think most of the people that are complaining that they've never really been outside the United States. I'm not talking, you know, a random trip to TJ. I'm sorry I'm using random so much, but a short
trip. I mean, I've been to like Tijuana and like the little teeniest portion of Canada you could think of. So I'm happy to be here. But you've been all around the world, and we've seen how people live in other countries. And that gives you perspective that people should really be thankful to be living here in the United States and to be able to express all these new fandango college kid ideas about free speech that these college kids have that Sam was talking about. Is that right?
Well, it used to be that for instance, when I was growing up, I was about 14 years old, and I did my entire report that I had to do for school on dangers of the PMRC, which was a censorship
Oh, don't
rooted
get Jay
movement
started on the PMRC.
based on Tipper Gore, which was Al Gore's wife. I did an entire report on that, and pretty much speaking out about you don't have a right to not be offended. You just have a right to shut it off and not be forced to listen to it.
No, you have a right to be offended, but I have a right not to care.
Yeah, and that anyway, yeah, and that's not the way it's being seen now. It used to be that, the youth just gives authority the one-finger salute. This is more like the youth is saying it's perfectly okay to do whatever you want to us as long as you don't offend us while doing it.
The youth believes that they're involved in a minority revolution when in reality they're joining the majority who's destroying the country. Like I don't know how Obama and the Democrats in general time and time again continue to convince the youth of this nation that they're part of some revolution. You're not part of a revolution. You're part of the majority who's doing what they've been doing for over 100 years.
That's what you get when you get a Sal Alinsky-night community organizer as president. And I've said it before, and like that's not a good way to end the show. Kyle, go ahead.
Can I just sum up, because I got to jump out of here? My mom's coming into town, but that article that Sam showed us before the show, it reminded me of one thing which I've heard before, and it's so true, that there's two types of freedom, right? There's freedom the freedom to build, the freedom to create, the freedom to become wealthy, the freedom to have a family, the freedom to do the things that we all want to do to be happy human beings. Now, with that freedom, there is also the freedom to fail, the freedom to not make money, the freedom to be unhappy. But the youth of this country, and I include my own generation, because my own generation, about 90% of them are complete fucking pussies who are entitled and they just want to be pampered. They'd rather live in the fucking giant bio pleasure dome of Logan's Run and die when they're 30 than ever have to do anything for themselves. And the other type of freedom is freedom from having to deal with poverty, freedom from having to deal with starvation, freedom from ever having to work at a job. And when you take freedom from above freedom to, you give away with it the ability to do anything for yourself, the ability to really understand and respect anything, because everybody knows, everybody here has had a first job. Everybody here remembers their first paycheck, and I'm sure very, very vividly. And let me ask you guys real quick individually, Jay, do you remember the first thing you bought with your own? This is my money. I earned this money, and I'm going to use it to buy something. Do you remember the first thing that you bought?
Yeah. Actually, I think Dave got me the job, and I needed the money to go to either school dance or the prom. I can't remember.
And when you went to that dance and you paid for your date's corsage or whatever it was, and maybe you paid for dinner that night, was it not the best dinner, the best dance, the best fucking punch at that dance you've ever drank?
I mean, I think it all went good. I can't remember a lot, man.
But you respect it, and you remember what you used. You remember why you needed the money, and you remember using it, right? Because you don't remember the first time that you don't remember your parents paying for shit before that. All that's much more of a blur. Sam, do you remember your first paycheck and what you used it for?
Yeah, I went to a used bookstore and bought my dad the Dragon something by Stephen King because my dad loved reading.
And do you remember the amazing feeling of giving that to your dad and being able to say, this isn't something that you gave me money to go buy. I earned this on my own, and I'm giving it to you. And how amazing of a feeling was that?
Yeah, you're right. It was really, really cool.
DLAKE, do you remember your first paycheck and what you did with it?
I mean, maybe not my exact very first paycheck, but I definitely remember when I was like 15, 16, I saved up to go with my friend on a trip to Hawaii, and like my dad was so proud of me saving up the money that he doubled my money because he was just like, you saved up this much money, I'll double it. And like, that was such a great feeling.
how was that vacation compared to, say, a vacation that you had
Fucking
taken
best
before
ever.
that with your parents?
Yeah, no,
Best
fucking
ever.
fantastic.
My first,
I knew and I
yeah,
still know, and like that's why I'm saying it right now. It was like a super great feeling that I saved up for that.
yeah, my first paycheck, I bought a PSP. You remember the PSP by Sony?
Yeah,
It was like the
I
portable.
saved up for that trip with a paper route. I just wanted to
There
say,
you
but
go.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
I was a fucking.
what were you doing to get that PSP?
I fucking was pushing carts in the middle of winter at Meijer,
Oh.
and I saved up my first paycheck. I spent it all. I went and bought a PSP, and now I was one of the kids who had a PSP. This is when they first, like, the first line of PSPs. And it was so fucking cool. I could watch movies on it, and I could play games, and it was. I cherished that thing to where if I would have gotten that for Christmas, okay, thanks. Thanks, parents, but you don't respect it in the same way. And that's what you lose when you take freedom from, as opposed to the beauty, the economic brilliance of freedom to build, freedom to grow, freedom to love, freedom to do whatever you want in this infinite fucking universe of everything and nothing all at the same time that shouldn't even fucking exist. It shouldn't even be here. There's no reason anything is or ever was, but we are here. We're an amazing country, and we have the freedom to. So fuck you, freedom from communists.
And that's your inalienable rights under the Constitution of the United States of America. That's what's so great about living in America. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I will say, as much as I agree with Jay, we should be happy we live here. We should be happy that we're not in desert drug gang land, Mexico. We're not in fucking the Middle East where crazy people shoot random things with rocket launchers for no reason. We live in the greatest country on earth, but that doesn't mean that we should ever accept complacency. We should never stop trying to achieve and move forward and become better. And like Kennedy said with the space program and going to the moon, we choose to do this not because it is easy, but because it is hard. So, I'm Kyle Phillips, themediaspeaks.com.
Fucking
Type
A,
it in on
man.
Google. I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of the show.
Okay, so Kyle Kyle obviously trying to beat everyone else on the show with his final closing comments and a quote from Kennedy, and like how are any of us supposed to outdo that? Big J, how did you want to just close this out?
I mean, I already said my piece, and I think he was prepped with that, man. He was ready to rip and roll with that thing. So I have nothing to add.
Did you want to quote anybody famous like JFK or anything like that, or?
Arnold, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. All right, great. Big J, hey, excellent and great having you on the show. Hopefully we can have you on again sometime. You know, I know sometimes on these shows we don't always get as much time to like say everything we want to say, but everything you said was great and fantastic, and I really appreciate having you on today. Sam, how did you want to close out?
I definitely wanted to tell everybody that, again, you guys are probably all eating leftovers by now, but my Thanksgiving cooking has just begun. I've obviously been spending a lot of time today, as you guys all did Thursday, thinking about things. And I want to say that not only is Kyle right, but the fact that that people do disagree with each other, and the fact that there are ways to go. I mean, I read this thing where Al Sharpton said that they're not looters, they are liberators and builders. It's very good that we live in a world where somebody can call him an idiot no matter what his race is. And I'm happy that we live in a society where, at least to some degree, we can still do that. I wanted to mention that I think is the one thing that America is doing that is still right. And it looks like it's being given away by choice. That is very bad. The other thing I wanted to say is, as I mentioned earlier and didn't get around to finishing it, as somebody who is already up at 3 in the morning on Black Friday, by then I would argue it actually is Friday. Any other family is in bed anyway. As someone that's gone to these for like 5 years, only like twice have I ever found anything that's really set me on fire and wow, I did amazing. So for anybody that gets up and wakes up for this sort of thing, I can say ain't worth it. I mean, again, I do it because I'm already up, but those are the two things that I've thought about this Thanksgiving. If you actually got up at 3 in the morning and you're somebody that has more standard hours, you got ripped off. You should have stayed in bed.
Yeah.
Those are my two thoughts.
It really sucks for me and my family since we were actually the ones in the news camping out 22 days ahead of time at Best Buy. That didn't really turn out to be such a good idea. But I'm DLAKE for PREZ. Thank you, everyone, for joining today on the show, MediaSpeaks.com. Special thanks to Big J for being on, Sam IB DiGangi, Kyle Phillips with his amazing closing talking about JFK. Everybody have a great day. Peace out.